This is NerdCage Live! And friends!
Chill out.
I'll be back.
What is up, NerdCage Nation? I'm Davis Madol, also known as TitanGoji, and I get to have the honor of kickstarting this Mount Rushmore video with my 4 picks. First up, you gotta have the king himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, Conan, Predator, Total Recall. I mean, this guy's pretty much done it all. I mean, look at Jingle All the Way, or even movies like Maggie. Arnold's one of the very first to do it, so he's gotta be on there. And alongside with him, you gotta have his counterpart, Sylvester Stallone. Rambo, Cobra, Demolition Man, I mean, dude's star power is on that same level. But to balance it out with the West, let's go to the East. I gotta have one of these picks for Bruce Lee. I mean, one of the most revolutionary martial artists to ever walk the earth and have some damn solid films. And for my last pick, I cannot think of anyone who is just as iconic, memorable, and just awesome as movies like Police Story, Drunken Master, City Hunter. I mean, I'm just blown away by that dude's like sheer talent, especially in stunt work. I mean, he definitely helped revolutionize stunts in the same way Bruce Lee did. So, yeah, those are my 4 picks.
What's up, y'all? Keith Tatnus McCleary here, actor, show host, out here currently in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta, Canada at the moment. My Mount Rushmore of action movie actors, I think they're too obvious for me. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone obviously are to action movies what Freddy and Jason were to horror. There were other movies out there, but did anybody care as much? Not so much. So those two are a given. I know everybody's going to pick them. After that, I'm going to have to give it to my OG.
Go ahead, make my day.
And everything he's ever done. After that, I think to give it some new blood, I have to go with Jason Statham because he's already got a hell of a resume behind him. The guy is awesome. I don't think he's done a bad movie yet that I'm aware of, so I think he's got a lot more in his future to do. So that's it, man. That's my picks. I wanted to keep it reasonable but change it up a little bit because I know some of the picks for some of you guys, and it's quite obvious. I get it. So I want to change up mine a little bit and make it interesting without being unreasonable. So I had to dig a little deep on the Clint Eastwood thing, and I think Jason is the future for a while. So those are my picks, bro. Deuces.
What's going on, everyone? Dion McGill off the Beaten Podcast, Chicago in the house. When Jake asked me to talk about a Mount Rushmore of action stars, I sat back for 10 seconds and I said, who rocks my world? Quick and easy. Number 4, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The man's career, it speaks for itself, but especially his portrayal of the T-100 Terminator knocked my socks off, terrified me as a child, still pushes today. I love it. Number 3, Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. The only thing better than a badass man is a badass woman. She did it. She went from cute and sweet to a killer, and I love her for it. Number 2, oh, we're gonna get deep here. Sigourney Weaver, Ellen Ripley. Come on, it terrified you. It just excited you. I can't talk enough about it. I won't try. Sigourney, I love you, babe. Okay, and number 1, I want all the heads to explode on this one. Uma Thurman and her portrayal of Beatrix Kiddo, aka The Pride, Kill Bill 1 and 2. She didn't even need a whole slew of movies to do more than all those other jackasses. With her sword and her yellow jumpsuit that was oh so sexy. I love it. Oh my God, I'm going crazy. And that's my Mount Rushmore of action characters. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go.
What up, y'all? This is your boy, the one and only Mad Mike, variety Twitch streamer, and I want to give a shout out to the homies from NerdCage for having me. So I'm gonna tell you my Mount Rushmore of the greatest action heroes of all time. This one is definitely on the martial arts side. So here we go. first thing first, Jackie Chan. Like, I love him in the movies. Like, when it comes to the fight scenes, and he adding humor to it, like from Rush Hour, Legend of the Drunken Master, and even like Twin Dragons was like a personal favorite. He always gets silly with it. Next one, Donnie Yen. I love Donnie Yen, man. He's like always like, he's quick with the punches on his fight scenes, like with It Man. Like, he always shoot it from the fly. Really just nuts, and he's really stiff and hard hitting from what I've seen. Also, next up,
Nobody's bitch.
I love watching him growing up. Like, even like movies like from like Fearless, Romeo Must Die, Hero, Unleash, The One. He's so legit, like serious, crazy. And last but not least, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without the legendary late great Bruce Lee. Enter the Dragon, the greatest kung fu movie ever, hands down, and my favorite. And especially like with Game of Death and Fist of Fury is like hands down, just simply just put the map on like karate movies. And that is my Mount Rushmore, and I hope to look forward to hear everybody's. And that's all I got. Deuces.
What's up, St. J and NerdCage Live, or NerdCage Nation, whatever you guys are calling yourself these days. This is Wes Jones from Real Talk, a movie podcast, and I just want to thank Jay for letting me be part of this video. Jay asked me, what's my Mount Rushmore of action stars? And at this point in time, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because half the presidents on Mount Rushmore have been canceled now culturally. And you know, I always think it's a great idea to judge actions of people that lived a couple hundred years ago by today's standards. So without further ado, let's do that. Let's judge people by today's standards. You know, there could be a lot of debate about who the first action star is, because just like everything else, things are influenced, they're repeated, they're modified. So we wouldn't have comedy action stars without Charlie Chaplin. We probably wouldn't have James Bond without a Buster Keaton. Well, George Washington was the first president of the United States. And for my money, I feel John Wayne was the first true cinema action star. Not the first guy to play an action role, but I feel he was the first true star. People would watch movies simply because John Wayne was going to be in them. And he typically played the gunslinger or fist-slinging hero. From Stagecoach to The Shootist, he turned in a beloved 50-year career in 169 feature-length films. And of all of his films, I feel his best role was in 1956's The Searchers, where he played the anti-hero waging war on the Comanches. And while he saves the day for his family, he ultimately winds up exiled from society for the lengths he was willing to go. So for my George Washington pick, I'm going with John Wayne.
Boom! What's going on? NerdCage people, movie aficionados, Mark, Fallen One, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Gonna start off with Mount Rushmore, biggest action stars. Also, check out my documentary, Box Office Heroes. I talk about this, the fall of the action star. You know what I mean? We're trying to hold on to him, so I'm gonna have a couple in here that we still hold on to him. Number one, my favorite of all time, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
And who wants to go with me?
I even like the bad movies, like Time Cop, Street Fighter, A Sudden Death. They're still really good, man, to me. Guilty pleasures. And I love Bloodsport's, one of my favorite movies as a kid. Great mix of martial arts. His style came from dancing originally. Here he is, man. Number two, we got my dude, Keanu Reeves. Great guy in real life action star. A guy who was in movies like Speed, Johnny Mnemonic, all stuff like that before The Matrix, which is one of the most defining action films of our time. The most defining films of our time for the 90s and 2000s. The man's still doing it, right? He's still pushing those action movies right into the next generation with the John Wick films. Love what he's doing, and I'm excited for the fourth one. Number three, gotta go with a guy. I won't say that there weren't a lot of black action stars, but there weren't really. Speaking of my documentary, Box Office Heroes, this guy is a big part of the second part, which is going to be about Blade. I mean, Wesley Snipes killed it, man, in the late 90s, Passion 57. Even as a villain, even in Demolition Man, as Blade, you know, the man killed it. And I think if it wasn't for the whole tax thing, he would have still been killing it, doing his action thing into the what we know as like the kind of end times right now. And then, of course, number four, gotta talk about Tom Cruise. Hey man, you want to talk about a guy who's still doing it? I mean, he was doing it long, even before I was born, man, and he's still doing it. Man's pushing 60, but not really. He gives me hope for when I'm that age, because what he's doing with Top Gun, I'm so excited for Mission Impossible 2, man. This next 2-part series he has. This man does the action himself, bro. Like, you go there to see, like, oh, that's really him? Is that really Tom Cruise on that plane? And it is, man. And he transcends action stars in that regard to me. Obviously, Jackie Chan does his own stunts too, and I'm sure a lot of you pick Jackie Chan. Shout out to you, but Tom Cruise is still doing it big. That's it. That's going to be my Mount Rushmore. Love you guys, 3000. Bah!
Finish him.
This is Anthony Marquez, the Kung Fu rock star, also known as Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat. My Mount Rushmore of action stars has to start with Jackie Chan. He needs no introduction. On the strength of the Rocky and Rambo franchises, Sylvester Stallone is also on that list. Tom Cruise, because of the Mission Impossible movie and the Top Gun franchise now, is also on that list. And then on the strength of one movie, Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee had proved that he could have been the world's biggest action star. He rounds out my Mount Rushmore.
What's good, y'all? Fist Vegas, the hardest voice of sports, and I'm here to give you my Mount Rushmore of action heroes, okay? No particular order, but I'm gonna give you this fire right here. Number 1, we gotta go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Alright, he's the man. He's been in every top-notch action film for the past decade. It's had The Rock in it, whether he's been Hercules, whether he's been Hobbs, whether he's been Black Adam about to come out. I mean, The Rock, when you think of action films, he's at the top. Next, we gotta go with Vin Diesel, my man Dom. Okay, the Fast series is the greatest franchise of cinema history, in my humble opinion. And he's in Triple X, and he's Riddick. Gotta show some love to my man Dom. And we can't have a Mount Rushmore without my man Jason Statham. Gotta go Jason Statham. This guy, he's been a Transporter. He was in Crank. He's in the Hobbs and Shaw movie. He's in the Fast and the Furious movies too. He's been in the Expendables. He's been in the Parker movie. I mean, everything Jason Statham does is an action movie. Then Arnold Schwarzenegger, just off the simple fact that he was the Predator. I mean, come on, man. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. The guy was Terminator. The guy was in Total Recall. Guy was in True Lies. But that's my action heroes. Hope you enjoyed it. That's it. That's all. Your boy Fitz is checking out.
Hello, this is PrettyGuardian, and today I'm going to be recreating Mount Rushmore using iconic action heroes. Starting with Michelle Yeoh, who's just had an amazing decade-spanning career with roles like Wing Chun through to the present day with Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that her position on Mount Rushmore absolutely speaks for itself. Next on my list is Angelina Jolie with the character Lara Croft. Angelina Jolie is an amazing actress for action films. She's done lots of excellent roles. Her movie Salt was one of my favorites, and I think that she brought a lot of life to the character of Lara Croft, who is a video game character, but also just like an awesome archaeologist, Indiana Jones sort of role. In our next spot, I am putting Atwell with the character Peggy Carter. I think Peggy Carter is just so graceful and smart, and one of those characters that is both badass and feminine at the same time. I absolutely loved her 2-season run series that's currently up on Disney+. And last but not least is Jennifer Lawrence with the character Katniss Everdeen. I think that there is a dark psychology behind Katniss Everdeen and the world that she was living in. Bringing that to the forefront of her character is definitely something that added a lot of depth. She wasn't just badass, but she was also a real person. So that was my Mount Rushmore of action heroes. Keep watching NerdCage for more feats of nerd knowledge.
Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, he was a lawyer, a philosopher, and the third president of the U.S. Obviously, the guy was sophisticated, high society, intellectual. So for my Thomas Jefferson pick, I wanted to go with an action star that encompasses those qualities. So I'm going with Daniel Craig. His portrayal of James Bond is one of my all-time favorite movie characters. Not action characters, all-time favorite characters. His 5 Bond films make up my favorite action franchise. And although his action roles outside of James Bond have been pretty lackluster, that character alone put him on my Mount Rushmore. There's just no cooler action hero performance than what he did in Casino Royale. It hasn't escaped me that I've just compared a Brit to a man who wrote the Declaration of Independence declaring his independence from Great Britain. Now that you're aware, I'm aware, hopefully we'll just can accept that and then we'll just move on.
Hello everyone, it's Toasty from Kamidogu Podcast, and today we're talking about the Mount Rushmore of action heroes. My number 1 would be Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Terminator and Terminator 2 is really what introduced me to action movies growing up. The first one is top 5 favorite films for me. If Arnold is in your top 4, that's almost questionable to me. He is by far the most memorable in terms of quotes and has taken part of some fantastic action sequences. He is and always will be known as the T-800, but some other movies that really have an important place in my heart are Predator and True Lies. Number 2, Bruce Willis. Bruce is involved in one of the greatest action franchises in the world, that being Die Hard. However, the first one is damn well close to a perfect movie. The soundtrack is exquisite, and I feel they caught lightning in a bottle with this feature. Everything just molded together so perfectly. The first film was hands down Bruce's finest performance. You could feel the intensity, you could really bond to his character. And most of all, by its conclusion, you feel you had watched something special. It was an adventure and a half. Number 3, Jackie Chan. Everyone knows him, everyone loves him. For me personally, it's all about the Rush Hour series. Perfect blend of stellar action and comedy gold. Rush Hour 2 was also one of my favorite theater experiences of all time. Jackie really gives it his all and has that signature of fight choreography where he often implements a lot of good laughs. This is where the original Drunken Master comes to mind, another masterpiece that is enjoyable from start to finish. Last but not least,
My name is Bond.
I'm a diehard James Bond fan. Besides Mortal Kombat, James Bond has probably played the biggest role in my childhood. Not only is Roger in the most Bond films to date, but he is easily the most recognizable in terms of his personality. I loved all the witty humor that he would bring to this role, and most importantly, I found each and every one of his films, except for Say View to a Kill, the most fun to watch in the series. Roger has always been a hero of mine, and it broke me immensely to hear of his passing. Roger, rest in peace, good sir. You made my childhood awesome. So that is my Mount Rushmore. Thanks for watching. Toasty!
Yes, we're at the halfway point, people. So I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore of action stars. Starting with the king right here, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Listen, as a young child, when I saw Terminator, it scared the shit out of me. But then, when I saw Terminator 2, I was envious of John Connor. Now that Arnold was badass, I wanted my own Terminator to team up with. And let me tell you something, the reason why me and other men go to the gym is because of fucking Arnold. Next, Sylvester Stallone. Rocky's my all-time favorite movie. And listen, if we're taking the top 2 action stars, 1A is Arnold, 1B is definitely Stallone. I know it's cliche to say so, but come on, look at his accomplishments and look what he continues to do. Even at his mid-70s, he's still whooping ass and still looks great doing it, man. Stallone is the man. Next, Bruce Willis. Listen, if you want my humble opinion, the all-time greatest action movie is, in fact, Die Hard. On top of that, you know, movies like Sin City, arguably he's the best actor of the action stars. But let me say this though, what makes Bruce Willis stand out from the typical Arnold and Sly, Bruce Willis always plays that more relatable guy. Yeah, he's not as big as those guys, but he's still pretty jacked, but you feel like you could have a beer with that guy. Plus, he's a Giants fan, so why not? And then finally, my all-time favorite action star who just blew me away from a very young age, Jackie Chan. Listen, I was 10 years old when Rumble in the Bronx came out, and when I saw that man jumping off a rooftop onto the fire escape on the other building, my mind was blown because I didn't think anybody, any human, any actor was even capable of doing that, and he was easily my gateway into my love for martial arts. Jackie Chan is the man, and there's no better stunt performer alive. I think more people should be watching his movies. We still have a bunch more guests to go through, so stay locked in right here, right now, as you can witness the strength of geek knowledge just keeps getting stronger right here on NerdCage Live.
Peace and blessings. It is your boy Eli Racks, aka Vibes. Shout out to the NerdCage. Thank you for having me on your platform yet again. I don't know what I did right, but I'm more than happy to be back on this platform. It's the greatest in the world, in my opinion, of course. You know what I mean? But it's up for debate, and I love to debate. Why not? But here, the Mount Rushmores of your action heroes. As far as movies are concerned, I'm gonna go with number one.
Who is
Arnold
your daddy
Schwarzenegger,
and what does he do?
Total Recall, Terminator, Expendables. This guy is a leader of franchise, man. I'm gonna go with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Number two, Sly, Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, etc. Come on, guys. Need I say more? Number three, I'm gonna go with Jean-Claude Van Damme. This guy was huge, man, especially in Bloodsport. He did Street Fighter. Whatever the case is, man, Jean-Claude Van Damme deserves to be in that Mount Rushmore. And guess what? I'm gonna go with a little trickery here, because I'm gonna go with my personal favorite, and I'm probably being biased on this one. But I'm gonna go with Wesley Snipes, man. The Blade trilogies. You got Money Train, action. This guy was huge, box office smash, coming in and killing it in the game, man. But that is my Mount Rushmore's action heroes as far as movies edition is concerned. But guys, this platform is right here. Go support. It's your boy Eli Racks, aka Vibes. Appreciate you, NerdCage, for having me. Be well. Stay blessed.
For my Teddy Roosevelt pick, which was kind of hard. Teddy certainly didn't have the physique, we'll say, of an action hero, but Teddy was known to have steered the US more actively into world politics, which is exactly what my action star did. With one of the worst and most bizarre speeches in sports movie history, Sly Stallone ended the Cold War in Rocky IV. If I can change and you can change, we can all change, or something along those lines. But for real, I love Sly Stallone, especially as a kid, and honestly, I still really like him to this day. Franchises like Rocky and Rambo and the Expendables. And another thing that I really liked about Sly is he really summed up the Reagan-era machoism of the 80s, which audiences love. And the 80s were really the time when action stars were at their peak. And so I had to ensure I had one of the main faces of that era on Mount Rushmore. I also feel Sly can actually be a pretty good actor. Roles in the original Rocky, Creed, Copland. If you've never seen Copland, you got to see that movie. And that speech that he gave, no, not the Cold War speech, the one in Rocky Balboa, that was actually really good. Teddy Roosevelt, he liked to say, speak softly, carry a big stick. Sly definitely didn't speak softly, as he was always kind of yelling in movies and things like that. And all those years of steroids probably didn't leave him with a big stick either.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Matthew Farden, voice actor for hire, and here we go again. So, my top 4 picks of the Mount Rushmore action stars is going to be this. Number 1, Sean Connery, because I love all the James Bond films, and he's a classy guy, so why not? Number 2, Nicolas Cage, because Nicolas Cage is fucking Nicolas Cage. He makes everything incredible. Number 3, Bob Odenkirk. Here's the monkey wrench. Bob Odenkirk, because I thought he was fantastic in the new Nobody film, and I look forward to more action-filled projects in the future. And number 4, gotta give it to one of the originators, Steve McQueen. My dad and I used to watch all the Steve McQueen films when I was young, and he definitely deserves a place at the top of the action Mount Rushmore. So, there you go.
What's up, everybody? This is Christopher Veljanovsky, founder of Kamidogu and co-host of the Kamidogu podcast. If you love Mortal Kombat, then please do yourself a favor and check us out. Now, obviously, I'm here today to share with you my Mount Rushmore of action stars, so let's begin. Coming in at number 1 has to be the Austrian oak himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. With his heavy accent and incredible catalogue of movies, there simply is, in my opinion, no one who even comes close. In fact, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is my favourite movie of all time, and easily one of the greatest ever made. Aside from this, I'm also a huge fan of True Lies, Escape Plan, Kindergarten Cop, and Predator. In number 2 spot is Jackie Chan. Both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter fueled my love of martial arts in the early 90s, and Jackie's fast-paced and incredibly creative fight scenes never disappoint. From flipping ladders to fighting amongst the sea of Lego, you really don't know what's coming. And of course, on top of that, he does all of his own stunts and has basically broken every bone in his body. That is dedication. Third on my list is Bruce Willis. You can't call yourself a fan of action if you haven't met John McClane in the Die Hard movies. Parts 1 to 3 were absolute masterpieces, and I was pleasantly surprised when Part 4 came out some 12 years later, and that was also a blast. Yippee-ki-yay. Last but not least is Kiefer Sutherland, who starred as Jack Bauer in my all-time favourite TV show, 24. Although he hasn't got an extensive resume like those I've mentioned, his performance of Jack Bauer in this show more than makes up for it. If you haven't checked out 24 but are a fan of action, then you'll definitely want to give this one a shot. Until next time, combatants, stay safe and stay flawless.
Hello everyone from NerdCage, this is TitanGoji of Resistance Pictures. So my 4 stars on my Mount Rushmore would be Robert De Niro, fellow New Yorker, of course. He is one of the greatest actors of all time in film history, so he is definitely on that list for being such a standout cinematic presence. The next would be Tom Cruise, making the biggest movies of all time. Top Gun Maverick making $1 billion, so obviously he's up there. Making the best movies, and also a good dramatic actor, a very intimate, sensitive actor, so I think he's definitely on that list. The next would be DiCaprio. DiCaprio, of course, he's got the looks, he's got the charm, and of course he's got the acting talent. You know, he is just a phenomenal actor, Oscar-winning, of course, and you know, he's one of the best. And last but not least, Bruce Willis, because he is by far my favorite actor movie star of all time. Die Hard is the best action movie ever, so he is on that list. So there you go. Those are my 4 greatest actors of all time.
NerdCage, I have returned to give you my Mount Rush. I'm gonna stop that. What's going on, guys? Derek, aka the one who nerds here. I've been asked to give my Mount Rushmore of action heroes, and of course, we have to start it off with the man who owns the universe. And I feel like you learn a lot about a person with the question between Arnold or Stallone. And I have the Arnold camp. Arnold is hard to deny. Conan, Terminator, Running Man, the list is... it's catastrophic. It is huge. I have to absolutely give him a top spot. I'm gonna go a little zany here, and this one will be no surprise to anybody who knows me in person. Undeniable action hero to me, and needs way more love in the genre, is Mr. Bruce Campbell himself. We can go on the Evil Dead tangent, determine whether or not he actually deserves a spot, but I would argue that he absolutely does, not only for his roles in Evil Dead, but The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., Jack of all trades, and many, many others. The man is a little bit more well-versed in the action genre than most people give him credit for, so I think he absolutely deserves a spot on this list. I think he will be sung about along the lines of Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, being his own person, and that is the indomitable Donnie Yen. Now, admittedly, this is the only Donnie Yen feature I have in my collection at the moment, yeah, go ahead, throw the apples or whatever it is you guys are gonna do. The man did Iron Monkey, Ip Man, the list goes on, and frankly, in a pretty excellent Star Wars movie, I would argue one of the more interesting characters. I can practically hear Jay applauding at this next one, and I feel like he absolutely deserves a spot. Mr. Carl Urban. Holy crap. You want to talk about just an absolute banger of an actor. He just gives you some of the best performances and the best interpretation of this character, period. Again, I'm taking a unnecessary dig at Sylvester Stallone. Love his acting, but Dredd though, he did Dredd way better. And of course, Billy Butcher. What more can I say? That is my time. Thank you so much. Keep watching movies.
Finally is going to be my Abe Lincoln pick. And Abe is known as the greatest president in the history of our country. This time I've got a very easy comparison. I'm going to give you who I think is the greatest action hero of all time. And that's Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I freaking love Arnold. Conan, Predator, The Terminator, Commando, True Lies. What I think is the greatest action movie of all time, Terminator 2. Couldn't have had it. Wouldn't have been as great without Arnold in that. Plus Arnold, he's the king of one-liners. I'll be back. Hasta la vista, baby. All those freaking ice puns in Batman and Robin. Get to the chopper. Plus, he has his very own noise. You simply can't beat Arnold. Anyway, thanks Jay for letting me be a part of this, and I hope everybody likes my picks. See ya.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Hello, NerdCage Nation. Here with another Mount Rushmore for you. This time, the Mount Rushmore of action heroes. Mine starts out like this. Goes with Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the best action heroes of our time. Brought us movies like Terminator, Predator, Running Man, and Commando, just to say the least. One of the best action heroes up there. Couldn't do it without him. And the opposite side of that coin, I have Sylvester Stallone, who undoubtedly was one of the best action heroes of the 80s and brought us movies like Rambo, Rocky, Judge Dredd, and Demolition Man. So has to be up there. Next one on my list is Jean-Claude Van Damme, who brought us movies such like Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Universal Soldier, and can even polish the turd that was Street Fighter. So he has to be up on my list. And last but not least, I put the legendary Chuck Norris, who brought us movies like Lone Wolf McQuade, Missing in Action, Invasion USA. He was even in the Kung Fu movie Way of the Dragon, and brought us one of the best TV series of the 90s, Walker, Texas Ranger. And the jokes about him just write themselves. So, that's my list. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Chuck Norris. What do you guys got? Like to hear it in the comments below. And with that, I'm going to send this over to Jay for the official NerdCage Live Mount Rushmore of action heroes. What the hell is that? Somebody at the door? Oh, it's a package from Jay. Let's see what this is. This is for shooting me in the fucking head. Alright. Oh shit!
Yeah! Eat shit, Joe! Now I got that out of my system, it's time to reveal the official NerdCage Live and Friends Mount Rushmore of action heroes. But before we do that, we have 3 honorable mentions because there was a 3-way tie for the 5th spot. So, for our 3 honorable mentions, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tom Cruise, and the mighty Bruce Lee. Now, let's reveal who's in our 4th spot. Fire the laser beam! Coming in at our 4th spot on our Mount Rushmore is Bruce Willis.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
NerdCage Live and Friends did me proud on this one, and our 3rd spot is the man, the myth, the legend, Jackie Chan.
Chinese bamboo is very strong!
Coming in 2nd place, to no surprise to anyone, is New York's finest, Sylvester Stallone. Nice.
Your worst nightmare.
And finally, far and above the rest, coming in at 1st place, is the Austrian oak, the Terminator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Here's Sub-Zero! Now, Plane Zero!
Listen, I just want to thank NerdCage Nation for all the support. I see you guys on Twitter. I see you guys on Instagram. And we definitely see you in the Facebook discussion group that is now NerdCage Nation. We appreciate the support. We promise you we are taking a break, but we have great things down the pipeline. Please stay tuned. If you are new to the channel, please share this video with everyone you know. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we would love to know, who is your Mount Rushmore of action heroes? Do you agree with our picks, or do you think we missed something? Let us know. We'd love to read what you guys have to say. That being said, before we go, please subscribe to all the fine people who contributed to this video. The links are in the description. Definitely support them as well. Not only that they're great content makers, they are fantastic friends. Once again, thank you very much. Now, let's just roll to show the entire results of the Action Heroes picks.
Trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!
Burn in hell, Joe!